here.
Hey, Kayla.
Hi, Iyanna.
Welcome to Fill in the Blank podcast.
Welcome.
Get away, okay, okay, no place we can go, 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 get away.
Fill in the blank.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week here at Fill in the Blank podcast. Hi, Iyanna.
Hi, Kayla.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Hi, Kris.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
That's great. Guys, today we have a very special guest. We have Kris of Chicago French Press and many other things, but we'll get into that soon. First, we're going to just talk about how we're feeling. And I know that you guys probably hear that my voice is all the way jacked up. And that's because Beyonce was in Chicago. She graced us with her presence. And I mean, Kris, how did you enjoy it? Because I know you were there. You went twice.
I'm feeling heated. It was awesome. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It was amazing. I was trying so hard to convince Iyanna to come, and she just would not.
I was very anti.
I don't know why.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, but it's just the feeling, the vibe, the mood. It was just everything.
Literally, when she came out, Ariel looked at me. She was like, I think I'm going to cry. I was like, I feel emotional too. Like, I feel emotional.
It took me back. Like, Dangerously in Love? What? Flowers and all?
She came out there talking about she loved us. We like, girl, we love you. What? Yes. So it was an amazing, amazing show. I'm definitely still on a high. I'm like, I've been recovering for the entire weekend.
I might need a hip replacement. Look, my whole body is aching.
I mean, you went twice.
Yes.
So like I would imagine. So I'm surprised you're still like kicking it right now. I feel like I would need like 2 days to recover.
Look, this is exciting.
Right.
Only this today.
And you got to see Blue, which I'm just so sad about that Blue did not come the first night.
She killed it.
I know. I saw the videos. I was low-key salty. I was scrolling past them like, I don't want to see this. I'm mad. But yeah, she did a good job.
Yeah, she did a bomb job. It's like, I don't want her to feel like the pressure of, leaning into being the next Beyonce, but she got it in her though.
Yeah.
She really does.
I did see a certain video though, and she was doing like the facials and stuff. Like, she was looking like, I'm eating this up. Like, what? I'm Blue Ivy Carter. Like, it's giving, I'm my own person, and this is just my mother that birthed me. Like,
right.
Oh, Beyonce? Okay.
I love that.
That girl.
I can't wait to see
Yes.
I can't wait to see her develop.
Yeah, I can't wait too. I'm really excited to see what she decides to do.
Yeah,
like all the kids of the celebrities, like her and Northwest and all
greatness.
Them. Yes, I'm just waiting to see how that's going to pan out.
Blossom, yes, they will.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But anyways, I want us to get into talking about you. So I just want to give you the opportunity to share a little bit about who you are, what people should know you as and by, and all of that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, you all.
Of course.
So my background, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, Memphis.
I'm from Memphis.
Look, Southerner at heart, Southern Belle at heart. But I obviously love the big city, and I started my career in New York, actually.
Really?
After I graduated Howard, I started on Wall Street.
Come on, Howard.
Yes, whoop, whoop, HU. But did that. Did finance for like 3.5 years. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur the whole time, but I knew I also need the experience and just to be able to learn. I'm a constant learner of life and people, and to be able to then take that and bring it back, that type of structure to my own entity was really what I was looking for. And so I then, while I was in banking, I started a marketing agency, integrated marketing agency. This is so random, but what I saw was that a lot of my friends were starting their own businesses. This was 2010. And no one had like a place, a one-stop shop to get their logo, to get their videos, all their campaigns. And so I was just innately, I think, not only interested and passionate about providing these type of quality services for Black-owned businesses, but I also saw just the need.
Yeah.
And anything that I do, it's like, what do the people need and how can I deliver in a way that also benefits me too?
That's a way to create a lasting business as well.
Yes.
By knowing that where those two things intersect.
That's the intersection.
Yeah.
It's like your passion, what you really enjoy, and what is really needed in the world. How do we bring this to life? And then the demand of that is what really, but at that time, I didn't know that, right? So I'm just dibbling and dabbling, trial and error with others. And then I got all these great opportunities. I got a chance to work with BMW for like a long slew of events, like 10 events all around the country where I recognize women and empowered them through this brunch series.
Oh, nice.
I started a magazine called Made, had Keke Palmer on the cover.
Keke.
Had, who else was on the cover? Will Packer, Adrienne Ballon, just all types of people. And so I was doing this at like 23, 24, 25.
How did it feel for you to be doing something that a lot of people will probably feel like this is unreachable and you're young in your prime and you're just like hitting it?
It was thrilling because it was like I took a chance on an idea, on something that no one knew about. And all I did was ask. And I realized, like, especially with the celebrity world, people think people are so unattainable, like you can't touch them. And once they saw that I had a quality product, where is Made magazine? It's somewhere in here. They saw the product and they said, yes, I want to be a part of that. And it was a simple, there we go. So this was Will. So
my God.
Y'all know Will Packer is that guy, you know, and it was great to get, this was what, in 2000, I think, 16.
Yeah.
December 2016.
That is so cool.
And Brandy was our first cover.
Yes, it feels so nice too.
And that's the point. It was like whatever I was doing, just it had to be quality.
I feel it.
And because it reflected who I was and what I wanted and what I wanted to see in the world around content. Like I didn't want to just read gossip. I really, if you look in this book, stuff is still relevant today around personal development. What are the tools that we need to succeed and make it?
When was this?
This was 2016. So we're going to do a reboot of this very soon.
No, you should. Because the thing about it is, you have to think about it. In 2016, that's like an untapped market. People were not talking about personal development and all of that stuff in 2016.
We hadn't been through anything as a world, like as a people yet, like not what the pandemic did to us. So I think I was a little early, but still it got me a chance to really network and show what I was capable of, not only to other people, but for myself.
Yes.
And that's really what it is about being able to prove to yourself and keep those promises and keep those deadlines. And we publishing 4 magazines a year. Let's do this. Let's do these events. And it was a great time. But I hadn't found a way to monetize it.
Okay.
And through, it's advertising and, sponsorships, that's a whole different ballgame. I'm sure you all know.
My God.
So I was like, let me just put this on pause until I'm able to really have the resources to do this in the right way. And let's pivot to an idea that I feel like people need again, is needed in the market. And I also really love myself. And I was 25 and I hit that point, that quarter life crisis where I'm like, what am I going to do next? I'm an entrepreneur. I hit a plateau. Like, what is it? And so I went to LA. That's where I go when, you just want to clear your mind. And I have a really good friend there. And he took me to this cafe that served French press. And I never had the French press before. I never even drank it, but I was an instant coffee girl, like just like low grade coffee. It was really just to keep me awake. And when I had that French press, honey,
it changed your life.
It was just this rich, robust. I had never had it before. And I was like, oh, no. Because I had already had the idea to come up with some type of flavored coffee that was natural, but I wasn't quite sure like what it was. You have this idea, you're like, And
you're like, I don't know how to really jump into that.
Right.
Like,
I don't know anything about coffee.
Yeah.
I'm like, And then the French press was there and it was just everything came together. And it was like Chicago French press. I can bring these coffee beans, source them from women-owned farms, because that was the thing too, is I wanted whatever I did at the time to be significant and have that impact.
Yeah. Yes.
And so I started blending the beans with like cocoa and pecans and coconut shavings to create this taste that was really authentic and genuine. And I felt like people would really enjoy this because I know I did.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, just this idea. And I said I was going to create 10 blends, and every blend was going to be connected to a nonprofit or a cause.
I love that.
And
That's
so
beautiful.
it was cute, but the issue was like, okay, like if you like red velvet and the cause was, let's just say, breast cancer.
Yeah.
You couldn't mix the bag. So it was like, okay, why don't we just say 5% of the proceeds from all bad sold benefit nonprofit organizations that I could select and choose. So, from then on, we were got distributed, put in Target stores, QVC, got our own brick and mortar. We're opening up a second one in 2 weeks. So God has really I would have never imagined that this is what he would have so quickly.
Yes.
And so when things just kind of fell into place and I stopped thinking about what I was going to do, I just kind of just flowed with it. I'm like, okay, just take me and I'm going to do whatever it is that you have me do.
That's the part right there. I actually just had this conversation with Asia not too long ago about that release and that surrender of just not trying to have so much control over what's going to happen next. Like, and you think that it's you trying to be like in purpose or trying to find the right way, but that's you still being in control because you're still of the mind that it has to look this way and it has to be this certain thing.
Yes.
But when you just release and you allow yourself to just go, like there are so many experiences that are cultivated out of things that you would never think are your thing or it doesn't look like the way that you thought it would look. And it sounds like that's what happened with you. Considering that you didn't think you were going to be in coffee and now you have Chicago French Press.
Right. And what I realized is that like I prayed for something and I was giving it, but I wasn't clear on what those steps would look like. So it was really, the surrender part was still knowing and having the faith that I know God got me. I have no question all of the amazing things that he's about to do. I just don't know what it looks like. And when you look at it like that and you're able to just kind of step into the unfolding of it all, like I'm just excited to see how this is going to come to. I have no doubt in it. I just don't know what it looks like. It starts to get fun and it starts to get more playful than just feeling like the pressure, like, oh, what is going to happen next? It's like, I ain't worried. I'm really actually not worried. I mean, I should be, but
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen for you.
That's where I struggle. I know I in some sense I do want to be in control, but at the same time I don't know what I'm supposed to be in control of. I'm like, I don't even know how to get to step B. Like so I get paralyzed. And I think I do need to work more on my faith of just do something. Just do it.
Yeah.
But I get really paralyzed. I'm just like,
It's also having the confidence that God gives us the gift of knowledge and wisdom. And so when you trust in the fact that like, okay, I'm going to just put my best foot forward and everything that's supposed to unfold will unfold quite naturally how it's supposed to. Then you can be in the surrender and have fun and not be so paralyzed by it because you're just like, I'm just going to do it.
Bro, I just don't know how to do that. I was talking to someone the other day about like how I know that God exists. And I know like the Holy Spirit is real because like when I do something bad, I feel that gut instinct like, oh, that was bad. Like that was really bad. And I know I have faith that God will continue to make me the best person that I can be when it comes to my emotions and my mind. But when it comes to career stuff is where I'm like,
but see, that's the part though that I discovered is like, it actually is the same thing. It's literally the same thing. It's like the personal side literally once that happens. Cause I was seeing that like I wasn't happy. Like with myself for a really long time. And I was allowing like my ego and just showing up in a funk. And then wondering why the business wasn't working out. And it's like, like you got to really feel good. And so it's like that's why I love our collaboration because it really is about feeling your best so that you can be your best to people. And then, and those people being like your collaborators, your partners, your potentially employees. It's like, yeah, they have to like you and you have to like you.
Yes, that's so true. I want you to go a little bit more into like, because today we're talking about like that leap of faith when you decide to bet on yourself blindly without knowing and you decide to just jump in head first. What was that? I know that you said that when you were in LA and you tasted the coffee, you were like, okay, this is it. But aside from that, like, what was that moment like for you when you decided that you were going to bet on yourself again with another business after you already had this wonderful magazine and then you were like, oh, okay, I got to transition a little bit?
Yeah, I think it wasn't a moment. I really, truly believe I've always betted on myself. I think from the very beginning, just because I knew from a very young age, I had a lot of friends that passed away under 30.
Wow.
Yet like close, like.
It's sobering.
It really
Really
is. And to know, like, I'm not afraid of dying. We're all going to pass and understanding that, yeah, this is a time game here.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
What if tomorrow is gone? And I've seen it with 5 good friends that have passed, and it's like they had ideas.
Yeah.
I remember talking to my friend from Howard, Davon, and he told me his ideas and what he wanted to do. And they always say this little quote around, there's more ideas in the graveyard that go unknown.
Yeah.
And so that has been like the reason why I wake up. It's like, if I don't do this, then my legacy and who I am won't exist. And it's like that Beyonce song, like, when she leaving her foot in the sand or whatever. It's like, I want to leave my mark here.
Yeah.
And so if this don't work, it's gonna be something else. If that don't work, then it's gonna be something else. Like, until this thing works, and really it can't be about me. It really has to be what God has for me. And I think that coffee is about it being a conduit to so many other things that, like, empowering women from all around the world. It's not just here. So that's why I just love, whether it be coffee, tea, whatever, the ability to use a product that could touch people in so many different ways.
Yeah, because people literally sit down and have coffee dates with people. The ideas that you're talking about come to life over coffee. Over just that connection. People drink coffee every day.
Writing books.
Yeah.
Doing a song. It's like I could actually contribute to so many people just by what they're drinking in the morning.
Yeah.
And so many people will say, I'm on your subscription because I can't drink any other coffee. I need your. I'm like, thank you so much, because that's why we created it. So that it could actually help someone, and it also serve as an inspiration for people too. That they can like I did it from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a millennial. I'm a mom. I'm doing all this. We could do this too. You could do this too. And it sounds so cliche, but I think that as we get older and older and you start feeling like life is coming at you fast and things start feeling like I can't do it anymore. It's too late. And it's like, no, girl, yes, you can. You better get this bag. Let's put this on. Let's get this logo. Let's do the things,
Yeah.
What else do you use to kind of drive you aside from that knowing, that feeling of knowing, like, I have to leave my legacy? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that. Like, it comes, and I know it comes and goes in waves. Like, you'll have motivation, and then you'll also just have consistency and dedication. So what are the other things that keep you consistent, dedicated, disciplined?
It's a mind. It's definitely a mindset. It's a, just like you wake up and go to school and you're dedicated to doing you go to work even when you don't want to. Yeah. It's deciding to invest in yourself. Yeah. And saying, I'm the most important thing. My ideas are more important than what someone else has invested in me, whether that be a school, you're putting your money into all these other places. What if some of that went into you? Yeah. And so I've always thought about that. Like, I put everybody else in front of me. What about me? Yeah. And it's like selfish, but it's like, if you're not selfish with your time, then your time is going to be spent somewhere by other people. Yeah. So
you have to be. I think that's something that I've learned as I get older as well. Just the time is so precious. Like, who you give your time to, what you invest in, like, with yourself in your alone time. It's just such a precious thing that I think people don't necessarily understand. I think that, like you said, people get so bogged down with life and the way it moves and whatnot that it's just, I know I get like that sometimes. I just be in my bed like, well, I'm about to be here and do nothing because that's what feels good. But then it's also the aspect, like you said, just that knowing in the back of your mind, you have ideas, things that you want to do. Like, what are you doing today to make sure that the thing that you want and the footprint that you want to leave is moving forward?
And it's the people that are invested in you.
Hello.
I mean, I think that outside of yourself, it really is like my parents, for instance. I quit my job. Like, I was making 6 figures at 22. Any parent would be like, what the hell are you doing, girl? Like, you better stay. But my parents was like, no, I believe in you. yes, do that.
That's amazing.
Quit that job. You can do it. And, you know, like my husband, everyone, they've always been supportive. And I think that extra, like, just validation was what I needed to say, okay, I can do this. Yeah. And even when it wasn't there, it's like, I have to be that cheerleader for myself. Yeah. You still got to fill in the gaps and not relying on other people, but still appreciating that village that will be like, if no one buys this, I will, you know?
Yeah. I like that.
Has there been lulls where it's with Chicago French Press? Because I know you talked about feeling like the magazine plateaued, but was there moments with Chicago French Press that it lulled and it made you feel discouraged and you had to like power through that?
Yes.
It was the giggle before.
Like, of course.
I mean, it happened that happened right before George Floyd. Okay. So we were online, hadn't opened a store yet, and sales were low. Like, and this is full time. Like, this is my full-time job. So think about it, it's like, this is how I'm eating, this is how I'm living. And then it was like, sales were like, I think $300 a month, one month. And I was like, I could not believe, you know, I'm pouring everything into this and it just wasn't popping off. And I remember the moment when, if you have Shopify, you'll get the little ding, ding, ding. And I was like, somebody bought something, and then they bought it again, and it was like ding, 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 ding. And it just wouldn't stop. And so this happened, and I turned on the TV and George Floyd happened. And that is what prompted, you know, this whole Black Lives Matter movement that people were Googling Black-owned businesses. Oh, wow. And that's amazing. And I didn't realize that this is why it's so important when you don't realize that things are happening for you, for your good. What are you doing when you're waiting? Yeah. And when I was waiting, I was still getting up 5 a.m., doing anything I could, like SEO, you know, website, just doing little social media, just whatever I could to get the word out. Yeah. And when the time came where people were ready to support, Chicago French was the first one on the search engine. So it was a bittersweet time because I hated the fact that it happened because off the heels of someone dying like that. It was just ridiculous that's the spark. But it was also the spark that really was needed to see that, like, yes, we have to support Black-owned businesses. Yeah. If we want to change the trajectory of what things look like, yes, it has to be intentional. So that was a really pivotal time for us and for me personally. So it was like, get out of your pity party, because that's what I was in at that point. I'm like, what, you know, maybe I need to pivot again. Get out the pity party, get your stuff together. I called my friend in LA to come open up the store. He came, opened the store up. We had a store in like 2 weeks. Wow. And then I was on QVC. It was like literally the switch flipped like that. Because when it hits, it hits. When it hits, it hits.
It reminds me of that story in the Bible where someone got a little, well, God gave like a little bit to each person, but they had a little bit and they did a lot with that little bit that they had. And God was like, okay, I'm going to give you more. Yeah. And that's what that reminds me of. Like, you may not, things may not have been popping off then, but you were doing what you needed to do to show I'm ready for more.
Steward
and then it blew up.
Steward over the small things. I've always said that with my team. It's like, if we can do something small excellently, then we will attract bigger things. Yeah, that's right. And you also want to pace yourself. You don't want, everybody thinks that they want to be on Beyonce's level. Look, her life and what you're doing, that lifestyle is different. So are you really ready to to be successful, to truly like lean into the success. And what I didn't realize is that I wasn't really afraid of fear. I was afraid of succeeding.
Yeah.
I was afraid of like what my life would look like if I was busier.
Yeah.
I would have to get up earlier.
Expectations.
Expectations.
It's a pressure.
People's like, dang, I'm kind of cool. Like, I like just
That's
doing
like,
this is good.
That's
right
good here.
right. Do I really want to
I'm like,
do
I'm over here alone.
Exactly.
but when you're called like that,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, God, I realize that work looks different, and being able to accept that work, it could be fun. And that's where the play comes in. It's like, this is my life. Yeah, I'm getting up. I'm doing this thing. I'm on TV. I'm doing this. And how can I use this platform to help others, to see, for me to just be a visual of what they could look like.
Yeah.
It just started to feel different for me. But I still battle that. Is like the more, and the burnout that I had back in the day. It's like, I just don't want to be burnt out again.
Yes.
But it's finding those coping mechanisms, finding ways to still be able to manage and balance everything and still feel good.
Yes.
And that means going to sleep early for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
No matter what.
that's a really
going
good
to
one.
sleep.
That's a good one.
I can't.
Because I need to go to bed too.
I gotta
That'd be
go to
my
bed.
problem because I'm
You go to sleep, Kayla?
whatever. Well, right now, since I'm not working, it's literally whatever time. And that's
Really?
what's not, Every year during the summertime when I'm not working, because I'm a night owl naturally.
Oh, are you?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm naturally a night owl. I actually feel like I get things done better at nighttime.
Yeah.
I'm not a morning person. I've
I'm
never been a
completely
morning
opposite.
person. So I literally will stay up until I could stay up to 2 a.m.
Really?
3 a.m. Yes.
And so when do you wake up?
I can't do that.
Naturally, though, because of my work schedule, my body naturally wakes up around 8. So that's
Okay,
the reason
that's
why
not bad.
but
That's
that's
not
why
bad.
I need to go to bed early, because it doesn't matter what time I go to
Yeah.
sleep, I'm waking up at 8 a.m.
They also say that women need more sleep than like men.
I
so
believe
we
it.
should be sleeping more because our brains are like multitasking.
Yes, all the
that's
time.
real.
And
even
then
when
add
we're sleeping.
ADHD to that.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Look,
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
My God. Can you talk about how your husband has been a support in this process for you?
Because you about to be married.
Yeah, I'm about to be married. And I just think, and I see how it's happening now, like everything with the podcast and whatnot. I feel like that's a major thing where you have somebody by your side that they can literally either bring you up or tear you down.
Yes.
Depending on the type of
that.
partner that you have.
Oh my
True
gosh.
that.
It's the most important thing to choose the right person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I couldn't have chose the better person, seriously. I met Derek in my transition. So like when I was doing Fame, Made, he's seen it all. And he not only supported me with business, but my personal development. Like, I'll tell y'all a story. I remember I was a broke entrepreneur, and he came home with some flowers, like a big bouquet of flowers, right? No, I'm a broke entrepreneur. And so he's like, here's some flowers, you deserve them. And I got so upset because I'm like, you see how broke I am, and you came to give me flowers?
You're like you could have gave me
Give me this money.
Yeah.
Right. These
Coulda gave me that
$100
money.
flowers. Where's this money? And he was like, chill. I'm giving you these flowers because you deserve the non-essentials.
Yes.
To feel special, to feel happy, just because you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to
for
work
this. You don't
for
have to
it.
work for this.
It's just because you are who you are.
Hello.
That's beautiful.
I wasn't even thinking about myself like
Yeah.
that. I'm thinking about paying these bills and doing these things, and to have somebody think on my behalf for me.
Yeah.
And he's always doing that. And I just he fills me up when I'm depleted.
I love that.
And that's the part where it's like anticipating my needs, and it's not like you're taking care of me, because I can take care of myself, and I
Right.
don't want anybody to do that. But I also know that I can put myself to the side and not even think about myself, and put everybody in front of me. He sees that he can do the same thing. So it's like me accepting that from him and me giving that to him, because my love language is to give as well. So it's like, it's the reciprocation for me.
I
Yeah.
love
you know?
that.
That's so
I
important.
love that.
He's awesome.
Oh, I love that so much. So we didn't fully introduce it. We kind of gave a little sprinkle about it earlier. But we are
I will
doing.
never stop saying that.
Now it's like in your mind.
But we're doing a collaboration with Kris to celebrate the 1 year of Fill in the Blank. By the time this episode comes out, it'll already be the 1 year that has passed and whatnot. But we're doing a collaboration box with Kris, Chicago French Press. And I'm just really happy that we got to do it with you.
Yes.
Because you helped us so much along the path to create this perfect blend and what it would be to represent us, I think, in the light that we want to be represented.
Yeah, I mean, you all had the idea, and I feel like it's reflective of exactly what you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's bright, it's fun, it's flavorful, and you can kind of use it with both. You can use it in the morning just to kickstart your day, or then at night when you're trying to like turn up a little bit with a cocktail.
Versatility.
Right.
Yes. So yeah, you'll love it.
Yes, I'm excited for people to be able to try it out and us to try it out as well too, because I'm a tea person. Iyanna's more of a tea person than me. But I was excited because of the versatility aspect. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. Like, that makes it fun and interesting. Like, okay.
And still a wellness, factor to it.
Yes.
So there's a lot of great benefits of tea, as you all know, and so to be able to like drink it, enjoy it, and it be a good, health benefit is perfect.
Yes. But that also leads into what we talked about when we were sitting down and we had our initial meeting with you, but the power of collaboration.
Yeah.
And being in Chicago, because even though you're from Memphis, you've been here for so long that you're
not as well.
Yeah,
you're Chicago.
You're a Chicagoan at this point. So what has it been like for you since being here? You're from the South. I feel like in the South, people are always like nicer down there, more hospitable. Chicago's a little more like in your face. So what has it been like trying to collaborate and work with people here in Chicago and get those kind of dynamics going, being an entrepreneur and a creative at heart?
Because you've also worked in New York too.
Yes.
So you've had like different environments.
That's the thing. Chicago is actually closer to the South to me because people are actually from Memphis and Mississippi. It's so many people that have more family in Mississippi and Memphis than I do.
Yes, Illinois is country.
Yeah,
it's the country.
Yes,
it's the country.
I feel very much at home.
Yes, I agree. It's the country.
Yeah, but it's. I've had so many different collaborations in Chicago, and people are very, very open to doing it. And I think that that's why you see the success of so many Chicagoans, Barack Obama, Michelle, people, Oprah. You've seen people flourish here. They might not be from here, but they have had and launched their careers in Chicago. So I think that that's not by, not designed. Like the people here are very opening and welcoming as long as you work hard for it. I think that you can really build in Chicago, and there's really no reason to leave.
Yeah.
It's really no reason. We here. Why leave?
A lot of people do leave though.
Most people leave. I feel like people like that are from Chicago kind of start, if they're doing something, they'll start here and then they dip out.
Because they think that it's whatever's out there isn't here. And that's why if everyone leaves, it's not going to be here.
It's
you
not.
have to stay.
I think about that quite often because Chicago compared to other major cities, it seems like Chicago's not really in the running.
It's
to
forgotten
be
a
talked
lot.
I don't understand.
When it comes to like major cities, like it's forgotten a lot.
I don't.
It's a world-class city, I mean, and not just like, oh, I just love it. But when you think about like the DNC is going to be here, there's real events like people like Netflix is shooting stuff every day. So I just feel like, why not? And I think it's really up to us to kind of be the leaders and have that Renaissance era.
I think that's definitely possible. And I think with that can come the shift that people's perspective on Chicago. Because I will say there's definitely a false perspective of what Chicago actually is and what it looks like.
Yeah, we got to change the outlook.
I agree.
On Chicago.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
If people stay. If people stay and if they want to work together. And it's always so inspiring for me because even when we had Abena on, she talked about how Chicago is so welcoming and people are wanting to collaborate. Yeah. And I feel like being from here, you kind of get like blinders on and you don't necessarily realize that people are open to working together and whatnot. And I think that with the podcast, I've realized like people are so much more open to working together than what I realized. Like you hear certain names of certain people and you almost get like a defeating type of mindset, like, oh, that person's not going to want to work with me,
Yeah.
like, and all of that. But this has kind of opened my eyes to see, like, no, people are more willing to work together than what you think.
For sure. And there's no reason not to. It's like, we can share audiences, we can share, we have, like, I'm multi-passionate.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I love that. Whatever you have, I can give, vice versa. And I feel like we all just realize that we have the power to come together with all the resources that we need. Then guess what? We don't have to leave to find more resources or whatever. So true. And it's enough for everybody. I think a lot of times Chicago feels like there's only
competition.
So much.
Like it's not.
It's so much out here.
Yeah.
It's just the rooms.
Yeah.
And being able to open yourself to more rooms and more, spaces that you might not be as comfortable in.
Yeah.
Getting out of that comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, I just moved here, 3 years ago? Have you seen a difference or a shift in just the landscape of collaboration because you've been here for 12 years now? Have you seen a shift since you've been here, or has it stayed pretty stagnant?
I honestly, from the beginning, I felt like it's been a very collaborative city.
Yeah.
And especially with the entrepreneurial scene and women, I think that it is about mindset.
Yeah.
Whatever you think is here, it's going to be reflective of what you think.
Yeah.
You're mirroring whoever you meet. That's why I know we're supposed to meet, because y'all remind me so much of me and vice versa, I'm sure. Yeah. So it's like just having the lens that there are people that want to, and you just have to ask.
Yeah.
That is the part. The closed really mouths just don't get fed.
Closed mouths really don't. It's really as simple as that. And I think that even outside of collaboration is like the key. It's like if you don't ask for it, you're not gonna get it.
That's so true.
And throughout my life, I've just been, I don't know what audacity was within me, but I'm like, shit, I'm just going to ask. Right. They say no then.
Then they say no.
No harm, no foul.
Look, growing up, that's something that my dad always told me too. Like, the worst they could do is say no, and then you're in the same position that you were already in.
Right.
And I think that now that I'm getting older, I feel that type of audacity that you talk about, where it's just like, okay, and then if they say no, then it's no. But what if they say yes? And it's just that taking a chance.
Yes.
Of
and
putting yourself in a position.
Ripples. And then by the time you look up, you have everybody coming at you.
Yeah.
Because they saw what you did with them. And that's exactly, I feel like the story of my life is like, I'll do one thing and then use it as a case study.
Yeah.
Put it out. And then it might spark someone else.
Yeah.
Like, this is my first collaboration bag with Mr. Suitable Black Tux, which is Derek's company.
Yeah.
And I've always had this idea to do these collaborations with bags, but I'm like, you're my husband, let's do the first one.
Yeah.
But then with you guys, I have something to show you, and other people. So it's always just start, you know?
So where did that concept come from? Because that's a really original idea that I don't personally think I've seen a lot. Like collaboration to create
a product,
specialty blends and things that represent your company and then still the people that you're collaborating with.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it really started as like, how can we raise awareness for something that we care about and give back? So 10% of that bag goes back to nonprofits around mental health in Black men.
I love that.
So it's like, if I do it by myself, only a portion, I will only be able to sell a smaller amount of bags. So it's like, how can we make this thing bigger? How can we grow it, make it more accessible? Yeah. And it's with other people. You can't do it by yourself.
Right.
You know, so.
Asia asked a really good question about how it is that you have been able to gain trust in others to be able to open yourself up to collaboration, because people can let you down. People can do things that make you feel like I'll never work with somebody again. So how do you overcome that fear and that feeling of mistrust, or is that the word, mistrust? To be able to work with people to do these amazing kind of things like collaborations?
Yes, that's an excellent question, because I've had a lot of burns, and them burns can get you to a point where you don't want to work with anybody else. And you feel like, just scared to put yourself out there. And, that was one of the hard lessons that I had to learn when I first started. It was my first business where I hired somebody, told them my idea, paid them, and they ran away with my money.
Oh, God.
Wow.
That's terrifying.
But the best lessons are bought lessons. I've always said that. It's like, yes, I never do that again. But it showed me about the due diligence process that like, okay, when I do collaborate with people, one, who are they?
Yeah.
You know, who when we first met, we were vibing so hard.
Yes.
And it's like immediately, all the paperwork, I don't even have to do that because you know when you meet a good person, you know, like your gut tells you
That discernment.
Discernment. And that's the number one thing. And then going back and checking my ego. I'm always checking my ego, whether that be on the flip side of it, my ego being like, am I insecure or am I the other side where it's like, I'm looking down at somebody like, no, we're all human.
Yes.
So with that, it's like, how can we collaborate in a way that both of us wins?
Yes.
And that's what the part where sometimes people like get scared. Like, I want my logo first. I want my, you know, and that's where it's like, okay, how can we both do this in a way that's equal and everybody can win? You can sell this wherever you want to sell it. I'll sell it. We'll split this in half and everybody feels like they've contributed and no one's lost.
True collaboration.
It's truly a collaboration versus like, well, I have more followers than you, so I deserve this, or I deserve, you know, I made it, so I deserve 80%. You know, that's when people do a lot, and I have seen that. It's like, let's just start at an even playing field with collaborations and know that we're coming here because we both bring something to the table of equal value.
Yes.
And we both want to gain equal impact out of this too. So if we all align with that, we should be good.
Yes.
And then, you know, at the end of the day, contracts still do need to be in place. Like, let's not get it. Because
they're for protection.
Yeah.
Because of the,
and for clarity.
Yeah.
It's like, when so-and-so happens, this is what we will do. And you want to trust people, but it's at the end of the day, when you also are selling something, you just want to be clear, like, what that looks like. So I'm not telling nobody just go off of guts and instinct. Like, everything matters, you know, both sides.
You still have to be practical and logical and make sure that things are clear.
Yeah.
Because then you leave room, you don't leave room for error.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When it's
no
clear.
gray area.
Yeah.
You don't like gray.
So where does this desire, though, for collaboration come from? Because not everybody has that in them. A lot of people are out for themselves. They're like, no, me. And I think that that's what sometimes can make collaboration scary, like what you said, because you were talking about how like the ego has to be removed and people have to just, you know, go into it on equal common ground. So where does that desire come from for you, that you, even after being burned, that you've decided to push forward and make a collaboration really like a pillar of your business and who you are and what you do?
Yes. I believe that when two come together, that big things can happen. Like, I've always thought that bigger things could happen when more than one person come together. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it really is like,
in a way, it is. Yeah.
What you said. Yes, it is.
When two come together.
When two or more agree, it is so. You know, that is really like the crux of it. And I know that I can't do everything alone.
Yeah.
And the ideas for a product is to be able to get it in front of as many people as possible. A good product that's going to be have that impact that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So if I only know 1,000 people and you know 1,000 people, we have 2,000 people. So it's always been like, okay, how do I make this bigger?
Yeah.
And it's the output of it, not making me bigger, but how can I get this in front of more people? Which is why it's like, yes, Target is the strategy. Why? Because most people are at Target.
Yes.
And they need to get this bomb coffee.
Right.
So, you know, it's just the heart of it all. It has to be the output, and the contribution that you're giving is half of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just it's something that's in me. And I feel like, especially as Black women, we need to do more of that instead of going down journeys alone
Yes.
and then having to quit or not be sustainable because we can't. Eventually, it's just going to get to a point where
Because it's not sustainable.
It's just not.
You need community or some form of collaboration
especially if you plan to grow. Like,
if
you plan to grow, there's no way. There's nobody that has grown and made it bigger and bigger that just does it
By
alone.
themselves.
And this is the secret to, some of the most successful people in the world. When you think about the biggest collaborations, like, yes, they're with Adidas or whoever, they're coming together, even these billion-dollar companies. So let's take what already works.
Yes.
Let's not reinvent the wheel, but do it in a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And I think that if a lot of, especially Black women businesses, did this together and brought our resources together, because the biggest issue with Black women is the lack of the access to resources.
Man,
and
that's
so
the part right there.
It's the biggest thing, and we know this. It's there's research around this, and so it's like, now that we know, it's no sense in complaining about it and feeling down about it. It's like, no, but you do have the resources right at your fingertips.
Yeah.
It's being able to exchange the resources.
Right.
And exchange,
It's still like what we talked about earlier. I think a lot of Black people, Black women, Black men, everybody's still in that competition mindset where it's like me over you.
Like it's a scarcity thing.
Yeah, it's the scarcity mindset for real. And it's like, once we as a people get over that and we realize that we're powerful together, I think a lot more things can bud and grow and like
we're so
develop.
much better together.
Yeah, so much. Like, just even like what you talked about, look at what happened, like out of such a terrible situation that your business was able to flourish and grow because Black people decided to band together.
Yeah.
Right.
They decided that they were going to shop only Black-owned businesses. They poured into their own communities, and it changed the scope of everything.
Yeah.
Like,
And what happens when you do that is then those business owners pour into the community, hire more employees, get more space, give back more. And so, the challenge to consumers right now is to keep that energy.
Yeah.
That was 2020. It's 2023 now. And so it was older, in the back of our mind. And so if we can continue to use our collective power together instead of like kind of letting it dwindle down, then more of us can become the Tyler Perry's of the world and own our own networks. I mean, that's how big it could really be if we just decide to keep it up. You know?
It's a decision.
Yeah, it is.
At the end of the day, it's a decision.
A collective one.
Right.
Because the days when you down and out and all that other stuff, like, it's a decision to just push through and just do it until you get to.
Until it's done.
Yeah. And then you're like, wow, look at everything I did.
Yep.
Okay, this is a really great conversation, but before we go, I really want to give you the opportunity to share if there's anything else that's like coming up, exciting things that you have going on that you want people to know about.
Yes. Well, there's a few things. One, I am coming up with a new podcast. It's called Super Bloom. It's coming out this fall.
That's such a cool name. I love that.
I do love that.
Yeah, and it's about the power of our collective community coming together. It's literally this topic, and I'm so excited about that. And then just urging people to, purchase online, Target.com, QVC. We're everywhere. We're opening up a new location at UIC's campus in August. So
I love that.
I'm just so blessed and excited that we have the support.
Yes.
That, that intentional support too. So I'm thankful.
Well, congratulations, because that is amazing.
Thank you.
I'm super excited to be able to see you shine. As like rightfully so, you deserve. Your coffee is amazing.
It is good.
If you all have been listening for a while back at the beginning, we actually did a kind of like a collaboration.
Wasn't it
episode.
our first one?
Yes,
I remember that.
Yes, and we had Kris's Coffee on the
Shout
podcast.
out to Asia.
Yes.
Oh my God, it is full circle
It
because
is.
this is our
1
right after our
year.
Yes.
That is
That's amazing. I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, you've been down to collab from the very
Look,
beginning.
y'all already know.
I
I'm
love
so
that.
proud of you all too.
Thank you.
This is awesome. It's going to be many, many more years.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes.
We need this. We need y'all.
Look, we gonna do it. We gonna power through.
Right.
But where can people find you at so that they can keep up with you and keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, you can find us at chicagofrenchpress.com. And I'm Kris D. Christian on Instagram and all the platforms.
Love it. And then as always, you can find us on YouTube if you want to watch us sit here and talk to Kris. You can find us at Fill in the Blank Podcast. On TikTok, we are Fill in the Blank Pod. On Instagram is feelintheblank_. And then you can follow me on Instagram and Threads at astoldby.cast. I changed it because of the fact that I'm trying to separate my business life from my personal life. And so
everybody call her Cass now.
Yeah, so
that's her new name.
I'm trying to go with Cass instead of Kayla because people gonna know me as Kayla at work. Anyways, Iyanna, they can find you at
Iyanna.amore.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.